Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Any Thoughts.
Today we're going to talk about child-friendly anime.
That's right. Alright, so some of these you may have never heard of before, so we're going to be having pictures to the side so you guys can identify them whenever you see them.
Well, it'll probably be up here somewhere.
Somewhere in this general vicinity. Alright, so...
Alright, so let's get started.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so we've made a list of the animes that we consider to be kid-friendly.
Right. We'll go through the list, briefly explain why we chose some of these.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let her run through the list.
Okay, alright, let's do it. Okay, so number 1, these are not in any sort of alphabetical order or what we, consider the best or the worst. This is just an order that I typed it up. Sister Princess, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Jewel Pet, number 2.
Yep.
Pokemon, number 3.
Okay.
Cardcaptor Sakura, number 4. Fruits Basket, number 5. Kaleido Star, number 6. Rosin Maiden, episode number 7.
Star Wars.
And Star Wars episode 7. Now, number 8, Studio Ghibli. We've got a couple under there, under that list of the actual titles of the movies. Right. So I'll let Dan read those off really quick.
My Neighbor Totoro.
Yeah.
Kiki's Delivery Service. Mm-hmm. Ponyo.
Yep.
The Secret Life of Arrietty. Mm-hmm. And The Cat Returns.
All right.
Are just a couple.
Yeah, that's just a couple of them. Number 9, Princess Tutu. Number 10, Speed Racer.
Mm-hmm.
Number 11, Yumiaro Pastratir. Number 12 is Shugo Chara. 13, Oban Star Racer. 14, Hamtaro. 15, Beyblade. 16, Sonic X.
Yep. 17
is Hoshi no Kirby. 18 is Stitch. 19 is Zoids. And number 20 is Case Closed.
Alright, so now we will talk about a few of these.
Okay. So,
Rebecca, why don't you start us off with a couple?
Alright, the first one that we've got highlighted here is Pokemon.
Okay.
That one is very, very, very common. I'm sure even if you are not a fan of anime, you have heard that title before.
Yeah, you've probably heard of it. You've probably seen it. Pokemon, it's been around for quite a while.
When did it actually come out in the 1990s?
The first games and stuff were 99.
Okay, so
but I think the series came first. Like the movie came before that. Because then they had that movie Pokemon 2000 and stuff like that. So they came out probably mid-90s-ish.
All right. The reason why I chose this one, because I know there used to be a lot of controversy out there about don't let your kids watch this because it's pocket monsters and all this kind of stuff. I chose this one because of their not life stories. Help me out. What did I say? Their morals, basically. Yeah. They're having friends and making mistakes and then, making up as friends. It's good life lessons. That's what I was looking for.
Right, life lessons. Yeah.
So that's one reason I chose that. And the characters, look, who can say no to that? It's so cute. So, and the voice actresses that they chose and voice actors, especially for Pikachu, were just phenomenal.
Yep.
So they've done a great job. What do you think?
I agree 100%.
Pikachu. The next one we're going to talk about is Fruits Basket.
Yeah, that's all Rebecca.
This one is, I'm going to say it's more of a girly type anime, but guys could get into this too if they're little bitty boys. I don't think your preteen or teenager would want to watch this unless it's a girl.
Probably not.
But basically what Fruits Basket is they've taken all of the animals of the Chinese zodiac and they've made them human beings.
Mm-hmm.
But every time, like, say it's a boy and a girl hugs him, they transform into that animal.
Right.
So they have to kind of keep separate.
It's kind of funny.
It's hilarious. It really is. It's a romantic comedy. I will tell you, though, the beginning of the show is great, but when you get towards the end of the anime series, the last 2 or 3 episodes are a little scary for kids because the cat actually does change into another form, and it's a little bit scary. So I'm going to just warn you guys that your kids, number one, you may want to watch it with your kids, or number 2, you may not want to let them watch that one. Yeah, especially not by themselves.
Right. Or yeah, it may be better for slightly older kids, like 10 to,
especially little girls. Little boys, if they're interested, they may can handle it, but not little girls. Next one we're going to talk about is Rosin Maiden. I've got one of the maidens right here.
She's right here.
And basically, this one I'm going to also say is for a little bit older of kids, because these are dolls that come to life. I don't want your little girls
and it does have magic in it as well.
I don't want your little girls to be scared to play with their dollies. Right. That would be terrible. Would be
bad.
But basically what this series is about is they have something called a Rosin Mystica that keeps them alive. And when you wind them, they come to life.
Mm-hmm.
And they stay alive for a long period of time. But there's, I think, 7 of them, and they live, 2 or 3 of them live with this boy June and his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really cute story. There's a lot of action. They play something called the Alice game, which they have to fight each other for their Rosin Mysticas, which is one reason why I said this probably for older kids, because it's kind of violent. There's no blood and gore, though. You don't have to worry about that. It's completely clean. There's no blood in it. But it's just it gets a little intense towards the end, but it's a good series. There's a lot of comedy in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just good. So anyway.
Yep.
So what's the next one?
I think the next thing on our list is the Studio Ghibli stuff, right?
Right.
So, that again was My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Ponyo, The Secret Life of Arrietty, and The Cat Returns. Those are the 5 that we picked that were like the most kid-friendly, like kind of all ages could watch it.
And the ones that we've seen, because we just bought one last night called Pompoko, and we've never seen it before, but that was on the list for kid-friendly on a website I was looking at.
But so like these are ones we've seen that they would be kid-friendly, not anything more than, your typical Disney movie, because Studio Ghibli is basically Japanese animation done in coordination with
Disney.
They do so a lot of the voice acting will be like famous people you've heard of before, like Jonathan Taylor Thomas or Billy Crystal,
the guy that played
or
Batman,
Christian Bale. Like they've all been in certain ones of these as voices of different characters.
So it's cool to hear them as voiceovers. It's different.
And so and they all have like really good storylines, and
some of them have good life lessons.
They have good life lessons, and of the 5 that we listed, I think probably The Cat Returns is probably the most kid-friendly, because it's...
And My Neighbor Totoro.
But My Neighbor Totoro could be somewhat scary to, like, really little children, because it's got this big creature that, like...
Screams in your face,
But he's friendly. He's not, like, being mean or anything. That's just how he talks.
But she can barely speak.
Right. So, but, yeah, I think... The Cat Returns is probably the most kid-friendly of them, because it's basically just cats and people.
That's it.
And it's funny.
And if your kid if your little girl ever runs around going, "Oh, Mommy, I want to wear my cat ears and a tail," well, basically in the story, the human is turned into a cat.
Yeah, she's slowly turned into a cat.
So I mean, for some kids, they're like, "Oh, that's really cool."
So, anyways, what's our next one, Becca?
Our next one is Speed Racer, and I'm going to hand that over to him.
Speed Racer, yeah. So that's... that goes into the branch of people who are like, oh, I don't like anime. Okay, did you ever watch Speed Racer when you were a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, did you like Speed Racer?
Yeah.
Okay, well, guess what? You like anime then.
Yep.
Because guess what? Anime is basically Japanese cartoons. That's all it really is. It's animation that is Japanese specific.
Mm-hmm.
And Speed Racer happens to be probably one of the earliest, mass, if you will, animes, because it was here in America. There was earlier ones than that, but they were primarily just in Japan.
Right.
So, but Speed Racer, like, you know, I mean, my mom watched that when she was a kid, you know, so it's been around. It came out back in the 60s,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty much just about cars and the crazy adventures that happen with...
It's a comedy, too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a comedy, but it's mainly just about the crazy comedic adventures that happen to this kid named Speed
Mm-hmm.
while he's, you know, participating in these races. So... it's pretty funny, and there's like a monkey that's always doing goofy things and getting into precarious situations. So it's pretty good.
I've never seen it, to be honest with you. The only time I've ever seen anything related to Speed Racer was, if you guys are familiar with Dexter's Lab, that cartoon that came out years ago, they did an episode and a reference to it, and that's the only one I've ever seen. So, that's it. The next one I'm going to talk about really quick is Hamtaro.
Right.
We're not going to mention, like, really go into depth with this one, but out of the entire list that we've mentioned to you, this one is the most kid-friendly. This one is made for even little bitty kids who just need something to watch while you're doing something, because literally it is about hamsters who live with different people in the area, and they all come to the one meeting area, and they go on these crazy little adventures. There's no blood, there's no gore, there's no cussing, there's no anything that you don't want your kids to be involved with. It's just a cute little series. There's a movie that goes with it. I don't know how long the series is. I watched it when I was like 6. So if that tells you anything, my parents were cool with me watching, you know, this when I was a little bitty kid.
Yeah,
so.
and she's 7 now.
Ah, you're so funny. I'm not that young. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is Sonic X.
Sonic X.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some of you may have remembered, I know, like, I loved playing the game when I was a kid, and I'm sure a lot of other people love playing that game. And then you probably remember there was a cartoon of Sonic, and I think it was just like called Sonic the Hedgehog or something.
Mm-hmm.
And but this is Sonic X, which is obviously we're talking about anime, so it is the Japanese cartoon of Sonic.
Right. And it's a little different in its story.
It's a little different in the story.
It is.
Sonic like lives with a kid and his grandpa.
Yep.
And so and like who is it? Tails and whatever the girl's name is, I can't remember. Sonic's girlfriend or whatever she
Knuckles,
is.
I think, is there too.
Yeah, Knuckles
the
is
red
there.
one.
So, and they all kind of like come and go.
Area.
They live in the same area or same house or whatever. So, and it's just it's a really cute show. There's it's just Sonic basically is hanging out, being Sonic. They're trying to recover something, I think.
Yeah, they're trying to go back home.
That's what it is. They're trying to go back home.
They're here, but they're from another dimension, basically, if I remember right. And they're still having to fight Eggman.
Yeah.
So that's just like the original.
I think Eggman has whatever it is that they need.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to, get that, but Eggman's always trying to get them captured by, like, the authorities or whatever. And so they're always trying to get away from that. And
yeah.
So it's just, it's really funny and cute, and, there's no, like, blood or gore or bad language or anything like that in it. So it's just, it's good, kid-friendly, it's Sonic.
Mm-hmm. And Sonic lives with a millionaire kid, so who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah.
So
okay. What's the next one?
Next one is Stitch. And if you want to look this one up, it's Stitch with an exclamation mark.
Right.
If you guys have seen the original Disney series
Lilo
as they
and
did
Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch, this is basically this is basically a continuation of after Lilo has grown up.
Right.
And her sister Nani has actually had a baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And basically Stitch can't stay with her anymore. Not going to do any spoilers for why.
They
but
don't
they
live in
end
Hawaii anymore,
They
right?
don't, yeah, they don't live in Hawaii anymore. Stitch crash lands in Japan and meets this little girl, and they go on these nutty adventures just like Stitch used to with Lilo. So,
right.
And Pleakley and them, they all move over there to Japan to be with Stitch. Mm-hmm. So and all the experiments start showing up. So
yeah,
it's a funny deal. Just like the original series, if you saw the original Lilo and Stitch cartoon that came on Disney Channel, same thing, just in Japan.
All right, now last we have kind of an older one called Zoids. You may have heard of
Liger.
Zoids. That's Liger Zero.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll let Becca talk about it because she's seen it more than I have.
Saw years ago. I had a friend in middle school / high school. She was obsessed with it, and he broke it. But it's a really great show. I recommend this for a little bit older kids, like maybe middle school, high school, like maybe the break of high school or beginning of high school or whatever, because probably the high school kids would be a little tired of this one really quick. But what they do is they have these giant creatures like Liger who are huge.
Kind of like Gundam.
Yeah, kind of like Gundam. But they kind of come to life on their own sometimes.
Right.
But they fight their battles and they go against each other, and there's tons of different Zoids out there. And they have their, I don't know what you call them, pilots, I guess.
Yeah.
But they do have their pilots, and they kind of go on these adventures, and they kind of like go around in the desert in these little huge ships. And whenever they come across each other, they have this robot who is basically your ref and conducts the battle. And whoever wins goes on to the next level. So it's a neat little series.
It's pretty cool. It's probably for, it's not for like the really, really little kids, but it'd be for like middle school age.
There
kids.
is a newer version of Zoids that younger kids could probably watch. That it's they're not huge anymore. They're little.
Yeah.
And they've got like a raptor that walks around with a kid. I haven't really actually seen that one very much, but I've heard good things about it.
Yeah.
So if you're into that, check that one out. So.
All right.
Anyway.
So, what do you guys? Tell us what you guys think. What do you agree with our list?
Yep. Oh, I'm going to mention one more thing to you guys. If you're a parent and you're doing this because you want to make sure your kids are watching the right thing, I would recommend watching whatever you pick, either from our list or somewhere else on a website first, all the way through, to make sure that you agree with the morals, the life stories,
right?
Everything that is encompassing the anime. But think of it in a kid's perspective. Don't think of it, that's adult humor, because they're not necessarily going to get it. But if it's too bad and you don't approve, then don't let them watch it.
Right.
That's kind of the
these
criteria.
ones that we picked, they're pretty clean.
Yes, they are. So just, it's your own choice.
Right.
But judge it yourself.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button down below and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more.
Yep. And don't forget to check out our Twitter or Facebook page that's mentioned down below.
And until next time, grab some popcorn.
And let the magic and adventure begin. Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.